So this is like just six-pack rapid fire questions. Usually I have like a third mic like set up, but like Jeff, Maggie's husband is joining us. Say hey, Jeff.
Hey, how's it going?
They can't really hear you, but like he's in here, and we're gonna try to make him feel awkward. I'm just kidding.
That's why I was like, are these like really personal questions? Not that he won't hear it because he's going to watch this entire podcast.
Right.
Well, I mean, I just think that I mean, these are questions that you should be able to answer with him.
Of course.
I mean, there shouldn't be too many, is there? Six-pack. All right. Which language would you like to speak fluently?
Spanish.
That's a disappointment. That's your most disappointing quality is that
I'm Mexican and I can't speak Spanish. Exactly.
So how come you haven't learned Spanish?
Mom and Dad, call this man up and tell him why.
Well, they won't teach it.
I think, So growing up, my parents spoke it in the home, my entire grandparents and aunts and uncles, but it just wasn't taught. And I don't know why. I don't know the answer to that. So it was never taught to us.
Has anybody ever mistaken you for being something other than Hispanic?
Oh, all the time, yeah.
What do they mistake you for?
Then I'm just white.
Just white.
White like you.
Just white like us white people. All right. If you could donate $1 million to a charity, what would you choose?
Ooh. Something that has to do with child advocacy or child, anything with a child involved, child advocacy, homelessness, something to that effect. I don't know specifically what it would be called, but anything that could help improve children's lives who are, underserved or whatnot.
Again, like before having a child and then after having a child, I mean, like I cared about children, obviously, before I had a child. But it goes to a new level of just, we had talked about earlier growing up in that quote unquote, like perfect household.
Mm-hmm.
On many, many levels, I feel so lucky.
Mm-hmm.
But there are things that come along with that too. And everyone else's like childhood around me was pretty much like horrible. Everybody. How is that possible? How do I attract so many people with horrible? I don't think it's that. I think people have really bad childhoods, and I didn't. And I feel so lucky to get out with these minimal scars that I have.
I would agree.
You know what I mean?
I would agree.
That's all I got to say about that. Okay. If you were offered a seat on the next space shuttle, would you take it?
Would I take it? Hail to the no.
Why not?
No, I have no desire.
Would you change your mind in either way if Elon Musk was firing off the space shuttle?
I could care less about Elon Musk.
Okay, I didn't know if you were just like, if he's doing it.
No, I just don't have a desire. I am not a thrill seeker. I don't like that whole adventure thing. I hate flying, by the way. And now that I have a daughter, I think about the what ifs. What if, don't you remember being in third grade, sitting there watching the Challenger go up? What happened? Were you not sitting there?
So let me tell you, what was your experience with the Challenger?
They rolled in the TV. Remember
how big was it?
The big box and the big thing that it was on.
How big? Like, because I feel like our TV was like 18 inches.
Well, you don't have a TV in here.
What's it back there? But that's like a big.
It was a big TV. I don't know, like a 20.
Oh, well, then you were lucky.
Oh yeah, no, it was a big standard box TV on those big tall black roll-in things that they used to roll in. And yeah, I'll never forget. It was the moment that you don't forget. So that's not why I wouldn't want to do it, but as a child, that's the memories we have of the challenge, whatever, going up. But no, I wouldn't do it. I'm not a thrill seeker. I have no desire to go to space. I have no desire to be in a spaceship, and I could care less about Elon Musk. Next question.
You're trying to act all official. You like roller coasters?
No.
What's the craziest thing you've done? Like when you think of thrill seeking, like, bungee jumping or
nope.
What's the craziest thing that you think you've done? Like if you had to go like, this was crazy, I can't believe I did this.
Absolutely nothing like that.
A really tall, like water slide?
I did get on the Sky Screamer in Six Flags. Remember that?
That was rough.
Yeah, I remember that. But as an adult, I just don't put myself in those positions. I just have no desire. It's not, I'm a wimp. I'm scared of them, but I just have zero desire to take a chance or be a thrill seeker.
I didn't know what this was like when I was doing it. And it's really kind of like almost like an epiphany now. I'm very scared of heights. But I probably rode just about every roller coaster in Texas. And I remember even when they're like buckling you down, in my head, I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And then when I get off, I would just be energized. And I think in those moments, like that is you are living life. You're doing something that like scares you and it makes you feel real energized. You're kind of connected to something. I don't know. That's my thought.
Yeah, not me.
Like I don't want to be connected to shit.
No.
What change would you like to make most in your health?
In my health?
Mm-hmm.
That's a great question. Wow. So I shared with you last year, I had bariatric surgery and it was a big decision for me to make. And I don't regret it. I'm an advocate of it. And I think that it helped. It is not the end all result. It is a resource and a tool. And it helped me change my mindset. It helped me change my behaviors. It helped me change my eating habits. But it wasn't just about that. It wasn't just about the consumption. Anybody who has bariatric surgery knows your consumption is very small now. But it was about educating myself on what does sugar actually do to your body, right? And what is involved with that, and making conscientious decisions now on not avoiding those things, but knowing when and how.
Yeah.
And I think as I continue to get older, and I do have, a heart condition, and it was not like deadly or anything, but eating habits can contribute to it, right? And as a mother, those were the things that really bothered me, and knowing that what could kill me, right? Diabetes, high blood pressure, the women and heart attacks are so much more prevalent in terms of it's one of the leading causes of a woman dying. So anyhow, so I say all of that to say, I think that just continuing to go down the path that I'm going down now, hopefully will result in just overall better health.
I feel like that there's a lot of things you can do to make your health good that are in your capabilities. And you should try to do as many of those things as you possibly can. They're in your control. Stuff that isn't in your control, like, you know what I mean? Like you have one leg, I don't know. Stuff that makes things difficult. Like, but I'm saying, like, if there's something outlined that's making it difficult.
But
it's
it's not just about physical health, it's mental health too, right?
Yeah, well, it's the whole thing, right? It's like how it all links together. Yeah, all right. What is the best and worst thing about being a woman? What's the best thing about being a woman?
I hear Shania Twain in my head right now. Exactly. Wow. The best thing about being a woman is I think we are the strongest and fiercest, gender. I think we are superior when it comes to, why are you looking at me like that?
Because I'm just feeling bad for Jeff. I'm just kidding.
No.
No.
He would probably agree. No, in his own way. I think
I have a daughter. What do you think?
One day she's going to feel this way. I mean, there's no way I feel that a man could deal with labor, delivery, and monthly cramps and all the things that come with being a woman. And I feel that we are just inherently superior from that perspective. On the flip side of that, one of the worst things about being a woman is having to prove that. Having to prove that we are not only equal in many ways, but we can be better than. So yeah, I think it takes a lot to prove how strong women are. And continue with your questions.
Nah.
You have nothing to say. No comment.
I got plenty to say. I mean, do you want me to say something?
Sure.
I think that there is no world in where, like, if you move to a planet which is like all women, that shit would work.
Well, no, of course not.
Yeah. So like you need, it's the role that we play in each other's lives as a whole that balances the whole thing out. So like at the times where I just need you to be, I don't need you to be a woman. I just need you to be smart. You know what I mean? When I need that's how we make this whole thing work. And so it doesn't have to be superior.
Maybe that wasn't the right choice of words. Your viewers are going to be like, who the hell is that woman, that feminist that you put on?
She's come from a woman planet. So I think this is an interesting, this is the last question. That's 6? Wow, I went through that fast. Space shuttle? Okay. I think it's a good question. I could talk about this for a second. Is there only one soulmate for each person?
No, there's not.
Okay. Proceed.
I mean, look, I think I come from a product of being in multiple relationships and marriages, and whether you want to call them your soulmate or not, my husband that I'm married to now had a previous marriage. We both found love in the times that we found love, and maybe we had those times we thought, oh, you're a soulmate. But yeah, no, I think it's ridiculous for anybody to say that there's just one person in your life that you are going to find as your soulmate. Now, do I firmly believe that my husband now, Jeff, is the one that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with? Absolutely. I feel that our circumstances and how we found each other, shout out to eHarmony, there's reasons. And I said this earlier when we were speaking, everything happens for a reason. Everything. And I think that the specific people that were in my lives, the men that were in my lives, God put them there for a reason. And maybe at the time I thought they were my soulmates, but clearly they weren't. You're a hopeless romantic, though, Jeff. I was about to call you Jeff. Scott.
A little, but I had to get a hold on that. You know what I mean? This will get you in a lot of trouble. No, I don't think there's one soulmate for each person, but I do think that soulmates come in a bunch of different forms. I would say, my best friend that we talked about, Melvin, he's like one of my soulmates.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
I think that Aaron is definitely like one of my soulmates. I think that soulmates are an ebb and flow, like where people come back in and out of your life. And that doesn't mean that they were a soulmate and now they're not. It just means it's like the ebb and flow, like Melvin and I's relationship, even to some extent, our relationship in this moment of like reconnecting, like, so it's, that's a lot of pressure to put on a person to find the one person on the fucking planet that's your soulmate.
How many billions of people are there? Too many.
And I mean, fair, Jeff, I'm going to ask you if this is fair. You make a list of the 10 things that you want in a person, right? These are the top 10 things that you want Jeff to have and Jeff wants you to have. You can just go ahead and just cross off 3 of them because you're not going to get them.
No.
You're just not going to get them, right? And so having that wherewithal to go, my soulmate is not my perfect mate, it is my soulmate. And I love them for their flaws. Like their flaws, I understand their flaws. Like I try to understand why Erin does all the things she does so that I can act appropriately instead of acting uneducated about how she feels.
Yeah.
And I try to observe that as much as possible because that's how I help her the most as a partner in our relationship. Right.
And I think when I think about, finding Jeff and in our relationship and I think to feel loved in a way that you've never felt. See, I'm gonna cry now. But to feel that is just whether that's your soulmate or not, and to feel respected in a way that you've never felt respected and accepted and heard. And as a woman and as a partner in somebody's life, those things were like unmatched when it comes to our marriage and our relationship in previous situations and marriages that I've had. Right. And I think that is something that is who he is as a human being. I see it in how he treats his siblings. I see it in how he treats his children. That is just inherently who he is. And I know that is never going to change. He's never going to compromise that. That is never going to go away in our marriage. That I know.
I think for the most part, if you grew up in a pretty decent household, decently how a relationship should look and act on like some small level, right? And a lot of times stuff will kind of stink and we'll just kind of like, we'll go, I don't know, like that's probably fine. You know what I mean? And then it's not fine. And so then the idea of the person that you've kind of built and then the actual person you want, like a guy like Jeff, they look very much the same, but you've overlooked on this other person, you've overlooked all these things, right? And it's real easy to do. And then you fool yourself into thinking this is what I have. And then you get married, then you realize like, oh, like, no, we have to live with each other every day. And like, this is totally different. And then we have to get along and it just changes, And
then you have manipulative traits and toxic stuff that enter your life. And that's a totally different podcast, though.
Well, I mean, I've really thought about like, like I am the center of my world, but I'm not the center of anybody else's world. right? So like the things that are important to me might not be important to everybody else, right? And I have to manage this with that perspective of like what I'm putting out, I'm getting back, or what I'm setting up my world to be. That's what it is. I don't know where I was going with that either.
No, but I agree.
I'm not just random thoughts.
Rambling.
Yeah. So thank you so much for coming and do this. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.